It's hard to make myself care about life, and I don't say that in a suicidal way, the way that I once would of like years ago. It's not like that. It's more similar to what I talked about in my first YouTube video on this channel, which is chronic apathy. And apathy and emotional numbness has hit me really hard lately. A lot of it is to do with the Epstein files and the things that I've read about, and it's brought up some of my past issues and a lot of those like scars in life that you don't really tell many people because, well, many people don't want to hear about like horrible things that you think like I think happened to me as a kid. So it feels like a very like lonely experience right now. The interesting thing is I have been able to find videos on YouTube and Reddit posts about like knowing that you have been through CSA, but not having explicit memories, but like having signs of it. And so this has just been like a really dark kind of state of mind that I've kind of been transported back into. And, I'm really good at suppressing things. And I know for sure that a girl that was my own age in third grade molested me. She was my age, my gender, and like the horrible thing is some people, when you tell them about that, like they don't get it. Especially if you're a girl and you talk about another girl like your age touching you in an unwanted way. I even had a therapist frame it to me as sexual exploration, even after I had gotten teary-eyed as I am now, and expressed to her that no, like this was a molestation that happened to me, and it was in third grade, and I was like a popular, happy girl up until that point, but life really like went downhill for me. And it's a really like lonely thing to go through, not only like that experience that I just talked about, but um becoming like hypersexual as a result of this trauma. And I don't want to go in too much detail, but there were signs in my life and this knowing that someone else hurt me too. And how do you heal from that? Like, how do you cope with that if you don't have definitive proof in your memories that it happened, but there are several signs of something like weird happening at some point? And I think, I've been very like blessed and fortunate in my life. I guess I was like a rich kid growing up, basically. Not like upper echelon, because there's like levels to this stuff. I wasn't like the 1%. Like it it wasn't like Trump status, like Barron Trump is what I'm trying to say. Like it's obviously not on that like quite that level. But I did grow up well off financially. Like I didn't really look at price tags of things, and I was like very fortunate in that situation. But it's like I grew up with money, and yet I was so sad and lonely and depleted and so socially like ostracized and mistreated in a way that I think even now at 25, I'm like so socially inept and like just underdeveloped in that like avenue, that subsection of life, because I feel like I was forced into isolation as well as like choosing eventually in life to willingly isolate myself in order to feel some sort of protection. And I I'm like still in that place, and I'm not a fan of this world. There's things I like within it. I love music. I love all types of music. I talk a lot about K-pop on this channel. And these videos that I do where it's just me talking and kind of venting my feelings, they don't do as well, but I'm gonna stick with them because I was really inspired by this channel called Ito Can't Sleep, which is really popular, and it's this cool girl. I don't know how old she is, but she's definitely like Gen Z, but I think she's probably quite a bit younger than me. I really like her channel and how she just talks about her mental health and stuff like that. So I'm gonna stick with this format, even if it doesn't attract people. Um, I feel like it's just not talked about enough how, like, when you're a loner in your formative years, it kind of makes you like unable to fully connect with people and like let them in. And people also just don't easily understand that type of personality. I'm so guarded and my walls are so up and so high up. And I talked about in my former mental health ramblings video, it's called Feeling Nostalgic Over Fair Weather Friends. Like, I don't think I can fully trust people, and my mental state now is like much better than it ever has been, and I owe that to God. But I still struggle with bad thoughts. It's like just because I know that I'll never take my life, it doesn't make it easier to struggle with those bad thoughts. When you remember your past and you just know, like, deep down inside, like, that you just don't like care what this world has to offer. And that's very difficult, and I don't want to be the type to like complain a lot because I've done that so much in my life, but it comes to me in waves nowadays. My depression used to never ever let go. And I can't help but think that being that depressed for so many years, during my entire teenage years and even before that, starting at like 10, like that just could not have been good for my brain development. It could not have been good for me socially. And I feel like I'm just stuck in this mental place where I just can't like maintain like female friendships, and I feel like I am one of those people that just needs to make peace with being alone. Being like kind of lonely and just trying to distract myself from it. I feel like these feelings inside of me get more frustrating as I age because they're still there. And this may be hard to understand, but I almost feel this sort of envy, even though I'm not supposed to envy as a Christian. I feel this sort of envy of people that their depression started like even in their 20s. Like, I can't imagine it not starting for me as a kid, because it's really all I've known. And I mentioned in my video where I talk about why I prefer being a shut-in, as in like taking off my makeup. I mention how I'm not a fan of therapy, and a big part of that is because therapists don't know how to help people that are aware of why they feel the way they do and what caused them to feel the way they do. And as well as like my depression being like starting so early in life. They want you to get back to that before state. I don't really remember that before state. Like, I used to be this happy little girl, but I don't really have many memories under the age of like 10 or 11. It's like all the happy memories for the most part have been like just zapped from me. And I see the blessings that I have in my life, even though my life is much more simpler now. I don't have the financial, I don't know, freedom the way that I did growing up with money and not having to like worry about prices. I just feel like a lot of the time I am made to just bear this on my own without like people understanding. I know that God understands my suffering, and I know that other people have suffered more, but with all this like Epstein file stuff, it's just really getting to me, and I think it's brought me down again. And I felt the need to talk about it, even though maybe a video like this won't be received well. Maybe people will say, you don't have memories of an adult hurting you, so like, why are you saying that? You know it happened. I have several signs that point to it. And posting this video might get me in trouble. So I don't know how many people will even care to click on it. But this is the type of content that I feel is most true to me. I do feel happiness, but I am much more experienced at explaining my sadness and my emptiness that has riddled a lot of my life. And I know that God knows that I am strong enough to endure it. I'm strong enough to get through it, to not self-harm like at this point in my life. Actually, fun fact real quick. What is it? In December of this year, December, I think 15th, 2026, it'll be 6 years without cutting myself. So that's great. So I have made like a lot of progress. Some people would say that's not a long amount of time. That is to me. I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me, because actually my prior record of longest like time frame of not cutting was 13 to 16, and then I had this horrible relapse in 2016, which I actually mention in my my I Don't Miss 2016. I was a suicidal teenager back then. In that video, I talk about that. But yeah, sorry for the nose rub. I did recently take out my septum, and I have like a deviated I took out my septum ring, and I also have a deviated septum, so I'm always kind of like rubbing my nose. I can't really help it. And I can't really breathe that well through my nose, so that's why I'm like, whatever. I hope to find like-minded people such as myself. I really, really hope that. And these videos may be hard to digest, but like I've mentioned before, I have journaled for so many years, and trust me, I frantically got my journal last night as I was remembering these horrible signs in my life that something horrible happened. And I just can't remember. I grabbed my journal over there and I frantically opened it, and I was writing, writing, writing. I tend to write in a very, very scribbled cursive format when I am in a frazzled, highly chaotically emotional state. And I drift from topic to topic. So, yeah. Anyone else that's feeling the brunt of this? Feeling like a lot of heavy weight from all about this stuff? You know, it's not like I just now, oh wow, I just now like know about Epstein and the Satanism amongst the elites. Like, no, like we've been new. Like I knew that. Literally like 10 years ago. As a 16-year-old, I believed all this stuff. And I've just believed it more and more as the years went on, especially as I returned to my Christian faith in 2024. But yeah, I'm really feeling heavy from it, and it only makes sense to feel heavy from this sort of topic of CSA. Yeah, I just got a lot off of my chest there. I hope, guys, of course, can watch this channel too. I'm by no means trying to gatekeep this channel. But I will say I do look forward to fellow like-minded, introvert, loner, weird girls finding this channel and commenting and relating to my videos. Not that, like, I enjoy that you suffered too, but, it's just when you've been through certain stuff, it is like comforting in a dark way when others like understand like where you're coming from, even if your experiences aren't like completely identical. Anyway, this was episode 2 now of Late Night Loner Girl Thoughts. And yeah, I'm going to continue this series. I don't plan to cry in every video. I'm not of the type that thinks that's shameful to be seen crying. I am either quite stoic or I'm very emotional and I'm crying. I don't have it anymore because my dad threw it away. He threw away a lot of my childhood stuff, okay? Sorry, Dad, if you're watching. No shade, but I'm just trying to be honest here, okay? But you did it. Oh, okay. Let's just move on. But what I was going to say is I had a self-portrait from kindergarten, and I wish I could show this so bad, but like I said, like it's been thrown away. All my childhood art has been demolished. So, because the sentimentality of that has not been kept, I just have to explain it real quick. My first ever self-portrait in life was from when I was in like kindergarten or preschool, and I drew a big like oval, kind of like oblong oval, kind of like a Stewie shaped head. Like imagine that. And then like everything was rainbow colored in the sense that every object was different. So like my head I think was like purple. My eyes were like blue or brown. I have brown eyes, but I think they were blue or brown in the photo. Probably brown. And then I had tears. I had tears running down my face in my first ever self-portrait with a smile. Like this. Like that Twice song, I'm like TT. That says everything to me. Like what I was talking about in the beginning, I didn't just mention that just now, the childhood self portrait, for no reason. I think that says everything. I'm crying on the inside, laughing on the outside, like that song. Um, anyway, this has been Loner Girl Late Night Thoughts, episode 2, and I'll see you next time. Bye.